everybody, Pat Huntoon here with Technique Junkies, and today we're going to be making a card that you saw in the beginning, the Pearls and Pot of Gold card. And you don't have to be Irish to send this card. This is just everybody's looking for their pot of gold these days, right? So we're using a couple of stamps, the SD 1232 Pot of Gold stamp, and we're using the S994 Pearl stamp. And this is a silhouette stamp, so everything you see black here is going to be black on the card, which is great for the tutorial that we're doing. We're doing a throwback today. We're doing Joseph's coat. So if you haven't done this or you've not done it for a while, stick with me. So we're also using Catherine Pooler Party Collection Luxe. This is one of the newer collections. I just love this collection. I love how rich these colors are. And then I grabbed some markers that were complementary to the colors we're using in here. So we're going to be using Martini, Flame, Glitz, and Dress Blues because we want them. You can see they more or less match the markers. They don't have to be exact, so that's all good. So the first thing I'm going to do is do the front panel. So with the Pot of Gold stamp, most of it will be black except for the word rainbow. I'm even stamping that in black because I'm going to be coloring those in with the markers. But the word rainbow, I'm going to write in rainbow colors. So why don't I just go ahead and stamp. And when I stamp this, I have this in a MISTI, but so when I stamp this, I'm just adding the black ink up to the word, and I'm keeping a paper towel handy in case I need to wipe some off. There are things I am very good at, and I have to say this is not one of them. Just warning you here. You see I have some remnants of black there and there, so I'm going to just use a paper towel and wipe those off. I'm going to stamp that. And that's not so bad. I might actually get the rainbow again towards the word there. And wipe that off. This precision work here is not my buddy. There we go. So I have more of the rainbow now. And now I'm going to be using the markers just to color in the word rainbow in different colors. So I'll just use some red. Okay, so it's a little light, so I'm just going to go over that again. And again, I'm going to speed this up. Okay, and now just to color that in. Okay, so all I have to do is cut that down to size before I put it on there. I could also take the words Pot of Gold and I could highlight them. And I think I might do that with a lighter yellow marker. Yeah, I think that'll do. So I'm just going to go over the words Pot of Gold just so that it highlights them. And you could really see them punched out through the black here. And as long as I have the markers out, let's just add some green here. Okay, so that's all I'm going to do, and then I'm going to cut that down so that I can mat it on the front of the card. So let's get to the actual card front. Okay, so to do the background, I want to recreate that rainbow. So what I'm using is several of the colors from the Luxe pack there. So I'm going to start with the red and literally just run it along the top here. A little more than, there we go. And then what I'm going to do, actually I'm going to put more red in here for a reason. more than I am the other colors. I'm just going to create a rainbow. This will be in the background. Now with this yellow, I'm overlapping the red a little bit, hoping to get a little orange going on there. There we go. And then I'm going to use the green. And remember that you're not going to see any of the lines where the inks are, because we're going to be putting a stamp right over the top of this, and you're just going to see the little pearls that come out. So I want to get good coverage on this. It doesn't have to be perfect, just as long as there's no white showing. And I have the pearls loaded into my MISTI here. So what I'm going to do, because I'm using a piece of paper that's pretty much the size of the stamp, I can't use a magnet on that, so I'm going to purple tape underneath it and hold it down. I also have pixie dots, which are, they're great for this. They're made by Thermoweb, and they're removable little dots, and they're great to put underneath your cardstock like this, but I don't have them handy, so I'm just going to use that. So I can keep doing it over and over again without it moving. I just want to make sure. Okay, so I'm going to start stamping this, and I'm going to do it and speed this up, but basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink this with black, and I'm using Catherine Pooler Midnight Black ink, and I just re-inked this yesterday, so it should still be super juicy. So I'm going to do this once. Ooh, I got a pretty good impression there, but I'm going to go back over it again for all those little areas where the ink didn't transfer. So we'll go right over that. So look at that. That is done and beautiful. I went over it 3 times just to be sure. You could also use an embossing ink and actually heat emboss that, which is awfully pretty also. So now I have a little rainbow in my pearls in the background. So I'm going to cut down my 2 pieces and assemble this card. All right, so after I cut this down, I realized that some of these letters are a little light. So I'm just taking the pen end and just tracing over some of these words a little bit. There we go. Much better with my little touch up there. So I'm going to mat those together. Let's just get that put on a black card base. I do want to mention one thing. Even though the ink does feel dry to the touch, I highly recommend that you let it sit for a minute before you put any of this together, because the ink might look dry, but it still might have some moisture in it, which makes your cards not stick. Make adhesive not stick here. And put that on there. And get this on there. And there you go. There's our card today. That's our Joseph Coat tutorial using the pearls and the Catherine Pooler inks. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please give me a thumbs up on YouTube and consider subscribing to the Technique Junkies channel. I will see you next week with a new tutorial. Thanks for watching today. Bye now.